Matthew Bezdicek here with another agronomic update, live in a cornfield that you can noticeably see behind me has some root lodging due to corn rootworm feeding. A lot of people are kind of seeing this in the area. Wanted to kind of address this a little bit, and to start the conversation, I wanted to talk about rainfall. So year to date, or planting date till now, we have about 12 inches of rain here. In 2022, planting date till today's date was about 12.5 inches of rain. And in 2021, we were sitting at about 10.5 inches of rain. So rain amounts sound good. But what really tells the story is the amount of rainfall that we have in June. Rainfall in June is what really helps us drown the corn rootworm larva when it's at its most vulnerable state, which is hatched to about 1/8 of an inch long. We kind of need some good rainfalls in about a 10 to 14 day period to really kind of kill about 98% of our population of them corn rootworm larvae. This year, we are sitting on about 1.1 inches of rain during that time frame. Those rains kind of came in more of a 2/10 here, 3/10 there type rainfall amounts, and didn't really get a good saturation point in the soil. In 2022, we were sitting on about 3.8 inches of rain during that time frame, and I would argue in 2022 we didn't see as grave a situation as what we're seeing in today's crop as far as rootworm feeding. In 2021, we had 0.67 inches of rain during that same time frame. So that kind of tells the story a little bit as to, why we might be seeing as much feeding this year, because we also got to know that the northern corn rootworm beetle has extended diapause. So the populations that we potentially saw in 2021 of that northern corn rootworm beetle laying eggs in the soil and laying dormant until our 2023 period, those kind of hatched, and with the light rainfall that we didn't really get that larva killed out, that is probably, or one of the reasons why we're seeing this. Now, the other thing we got to remember is that when you couple rootworm feeding with a dry environment, we can't regenerate our roots fast enough. I can kind of link this to corn silks. So when corn rootworm beetles are feeding on silks, in dry conditions, there's about 5 beetles per plant before you hit threshold that you have to treat. When it is a good moisture state, you can actually let that increase to 15 beetles per plant. So same instance here, we just had more rootworm feeding than what we could regenerate our root mass for. And that kind of leads to other problems that we could have down the road now. We're seeing a lot of firing in these corn plants. When we are relying on diffusion to take up our macronutrients of phosphorus and potassium, without having a good root mass there, obviously we're seeing our corn plant having to rob from its internal reservoir of the bottom leaves. They're firing up and they're trying to feed that ear. To note, in corn stover for a 200 bushel crop, there are actually 220 pounds of potassium in that corn stalk. So I don't think the issues with this rootworm lodging are totally over. I think we could have some stalk stability issues. So I can't stress enough for you guys to go out, check your fields, see what you see out there, and kind of make a game plan for not only harvest this year, but then also for next year's seed selection. We're starting to talk about seed varieties, and have a conversation with your account manager to see if insecticide might be an option, or the traits might be an option, or maybe both. But I can't stress enough to start planning for 2024 for this potential problem, and then also keep in mind 2025 just because of the extended diapause. So thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned.